Thank you all for tuning in to watch our presentation. We will be teaching you the needs for citing sources and different ways of doing so. Tom will start with explaining how to select a research topic and how to identify information sources. Then Margarita will explain how to evaluate sources and give some research tips and techniques. I will explain how to cite your sources using different styles. Please enjoy. Take it away, Tom.
Starting off the list is selecting a topic. The ability to develop a good research topic is an important skill. An instructor may assign you to a specific topic, but most often instructors require you to select your own topic of interest. When deciding on a topic, there are a few things that you should keep in mind. We've narrowed it down to 8 steps. Step 1 is to brainstorm for ideas. Throw ideas on the table that interest you. This can be based on an opinion you have about, say, social or political problems, a personal issue, or maybe a topic talked about in class. There are really no wrong topics as long as you can find enough information about them. However, the only tip I want to give to you guys is to be aware of overused ideas when deciding a topic. You may wish to avoid topics such as abortion, gun control, teen pregnancy, or suicide, unless you feel like you have a unique approach to it. Step 2. Once you've gotten a couple of topics in mind, read some background information on them to make sure there's enough quantitative and qualitative information. Step 3. Focus on your topic. What I'm saying is that your topic should be limited. Ways to limit your topic is to focus on a geographical area, a culture, a time frame, a discipline, or a population group. Then proceed to make a list of useful keywords, which is step 4. Step 5 is to be flexible in modifying your topic. During the research process, you might come across other aspects of the topic that are more interesting or, say, more manageable. Once you think you have gotten the right topic in mind, we go over to step 6, defining your topic as a focused research question. You will often start with a word and then develop a more focused interest in an aspect of something relating to that word, which can then help you begin to formulate questions about the topic. Step 7 is to once again do research and do a lot of reading about your topic before you make a final decision. Last but not least, we have reached step 8, formulating a thesis statement. This may be your answer to your research question and or a way to clearly state the purpose of your research. Your thesis statement will usually be 1 or 2 sentences that state precisely what is to be answered, proven, or what you will inform your audience about. Keep in mind, however, the development of a thesis assumes there is sufficient evidence to support the thesis statement. Once all these steps are fulfilled, you have successfully chosen a topic. We go over to our next topic, which is about identifying information sources. Well, there are so many different types of information on the internet, it is sometimes difficult to identify what you see on the screen. Knowing the type of information you need or are hoping to find will help in accessing the information and using it appropriately. Basic research tools that can help you are the following: library catalogs, article databases, reference resources, and search engines. However, you have to keep certain things in mind when using these tools. We go over to our next topic, which is about identifying information sources. Well, there are so many different types of information on the internet, it is sometimes difficult to identify what you see on the screen. Knowing the type of information you need or are hoping to find will help in accessing the information and using it appropriately. Basic research tools that can help you are the following: library catalogs, article databases, reference resources, and search engines. However, you have to keep certain things in mind when using these tools. Firstly, there's a big difference in scholarly versus popular publications. Publications such as journals, for example, are generally held as being scholarly, including references and citations. On the other hand, you have magazines that are referred to as being popular publications, having less credibility. More differences between the two can be seen on the screen right now. Well, then we come to the primary versus secondary source discussion. Make sure you've gained knowledge about which sources you are actually using. Are they scientific enough to make it your essay, for example? Differences between the two are the following. Primary sources are the original documents of an event or discovery, such as results of research, experiments, surveys, interviews, letters, diaries, legal documents, and scientific journal articles, while secondary sources offer an analysis or a restatement of an event or discovery described in primary sources, meaning secondary sources interpret, explain, or summarize primary sources. Primary sources are also records of events as they are first described. Think of videotapes, audio recordings, or eyewitness news reports. Secondary sources are used to persuade the reader and therefore may be considered less objective. Examples of secondary sources include dictionaries, encyclopedias, textbooks, articles, and editorials that interpret or review research works. It is important to decide on the type of information or media you need before you start looking, and to know what type of information or media you are using as you are critically evaluated. Now, enough about this. Let's go to Margot, who will talk about evaluating sources.
So evaluating information is very important because both libraries and internet, they consist of lots of information, and sometimes it's just difficult to recognize which one is useful, which one is useless, and which one is reliable or not. So for example, in library, they develop plans and use specific criteria to add materials. They also try to purchase only high quality materials, while on the internet almost everyone can add information and no one make plans for the entire internet and how to present it. So that's why you should search experience and improve your ability of how to recognize it. For example, accuracy of credibility, you should ask yourself a question: is the information provided based on facts and some figures and proven information? Or who is the author and if he is connected with some formal institutions? Also, like if the information cover your basic that you need to use. If there is a list of references, because if it is, it means that the author used lots of information to make your source really reliable. And how the website look like. So if it's like full of advertisement, that probably the information here are not very proven and not very trustable. And if this like a formal website without any advertisement, it means that information probably gonna be very reliable.
Accurately documenting sources used for research is an important part of the writing and research process. Documentation is important because it gives used to give credit for information originally written elsewhere. Documentation enables others to find the same information again, and failure to give credit for drawing on the work of others constitutes plagiarism. All documentation should be done according to the style appropriate for the audience that will be reading and reviewing the writing. The best way to create a bibliography is to use different websites online such as RefWorks. It allows you to create citations and bibliographies in many different formats. Ask each of your instructors or mentors which style they want you to use. Another good research for quick answers about popular citation styles is in the online writing lab at Purdue University. The Thompson Library also describes just too many different documentation styles. Different citation styles include APA, MLA, Chicago/Turabian, and CBE. I will now be explaining how to use APA since that's what we use. As you can APA style can be used for things that we do at school. As you can see from the image in yellow, the citation is used for only the first name and then the date that it's published, which references to the whole link that is used with the day and the month there as well. The references are put into the citation area, while the citation itself is in text.
So the next step is research tip and techniques. So to start with, the step number 1 is clearly define your research need. So you have to know what information do you need, how much information and what kind of it, formal, informal, scientific, and so on. The next step is begin your search. So use different library websites, use journals, magazines, and newspapers, and also media available in the library. Then step number 3, carefully select your search terms. So use the most specific words to describe your topic, including synonyms and alternative terms such as abbreviation, and use advanced search techniques. So, for example, truncation is used to expand result by instructing your computer to look for the root of the word, or phrase searching. The step number 4 is carefully and accurately record your finding. So take detailed notes or print out full references. Then carefully organize your bookmarks with meaningful headings. Step number 5 is critically evaluate the information that you find. So don't waste time on some useless sources. Try to find another one. And also remember that internet is just a self-publishing medium, and it contains a huge number of data, including very useless information and unproven, so just be careful with it. Step number 6 is get help whenever you need it. So ask your instructor or professor for help, ask a reference librarian for assistance, and the most important advice is don't waste your time if you're finding any information at a particular resource. So ask for help before being frustrated.